Now that's what I understand, I exclaimed. As I walked out of my new doctor's office, I had reason to rejoice. I was going to live, I tell you. This may seem silly to you, but just a year ago I thought I had less than 6 months left before sleeping in the dirt permanently. Yeah, it was all because of some screw-up in the lab. I don't even remember what horrible disease they told me about. Whatever it was, it wasn't. I didn't have it, and I didn't die. After that, I fired Bob, my so-called doctor. But I still play golf with him. His handicap is 6. My game has improved. I have a 6 as well. It's funny how realizing you're not going to die improves your attitude toward life. My new doctor, Kathy, doesn't play golf, but she says I should live a long life. She says I'm as healthy as a horse. I have absolutely no idea how healthy a horse is, but she's a doctor and you'd think they'd know. At first it was weird going to a female doctor, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I don't consider myself homophobic, but wouldn't you like to have a woman's arms around you when you turn your head and cough? I know what my answer is. When I got home that evening, I had a smile on my face. It could not be removed with a wire brush. My life was so good these days, I seemed enamored after last year's fiasco. A few months ago, I was promoted at work. Mary, my wife, loved me, and I was healthy. Life was perfect. "Charlie, we need to talk," Mary said, handing me 4 aspirin tablets and a big gulp of Jack Daniels. This wasn't my usual pre-dinner drink. Something was going on. "What's wrong, Mary?" "I talked to Dr. Kathy this afternoon. She called right before you got home," Mary said with a concerned look. "You have got to be kidding me. Not again. That bitch can't be trusted with doctors who don't play golf, or those who do, for that matter." My hand shook as I raised the huge cup to my lips. "To you, Charlie, and to all of us who are about to die, again," I toasted to myself. Mary stared at me. "Charlie, you need to pull yourself together. I have some news, and I'm not sure you're going to like it." Gee, how many times does a guy have to hear he's dying before it kills him? Mary always had a knack for understatement. The voices in my head chimed in again. "Ha! You see, you're a loser." "You're a dead man, Charlie." Blah, 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 blah. The third voice was already feeling the effects of the alcohol. I held out my cup to Mary. "Pour another." "No, Charlie. Just calm down. We need to discuss this rationally," she said. Rationally, she couldn't be serious. We're not discussing buying new curtains rationally, are we? Poor Charlie is being plucked off the vine in the prime of his life, and she wants to be rational? "Charlie, I'm pregnant." What the hell is she talking about? I'm about to die, and she's joking that I'm going to have kids. "Stop joking, Mary. How much longer?" "How long?" "I'd say about 8 weeks," she replied. Fuck me. Last time they gave me 6 months. "Mary, we have so much to do. We have to prepare," I said, resigned to my fate. "Charlie, we still have plenty of time. Just relax," she said. Mary took the news of my death very calmly. "Relax? We have a million loose ends to tie up. We have to plan a funeral, for heaven's sake." "Mary, how can you tell me to relax?" "A funeral? Charlie, damn you, listen to me. I told you I was pregnant." "It wasn't funny the first time you told me that. Stop it, Mary. This is serious. The doctor called and said I was going to die in 8 weeks, and you keep joking about being pregnant?" "Charlie, read my lips. I'm 8 weeks pregnant. You're not going to die," she said very slowly. "Are you saying I'm not?" "No." "Whew," I thought. Oh my God, this can't happen again. I was relieved. Ha ha, I'm not dying. Wow. "Hold the phone. You said you were pregnant." "Oh, Mary, how could you do this to me?" said I and started crying. "It's not what you think, Charlie," she told me, trying to comfort me. "That's what they all say, you brat. After last year when you cheated, I thought we—" "Damn you, Charlie, I didn't cheat on you. Not then, much less now," Mary said angrily. "But a vasectomy? How? Why, Mary, why? Sobbed I. Dr. Kathy told me that it's possible that your surgery, well, it's all pretty technical. But the important thing is that it's your baby, Charlie. Do you really think I don't know who or what was inside me? I'm surprised you're even thinking about it. I had no response to her statement. I wanted to trust her, I really did. I didn't know what to do or say. Just a few minutes ago, I was on top of the world, and now look at me. All the weight of the world had fallen on the toes of my wingtip shoes. I cried, and when I wasn't crying, I was drinking. That night, I passed out shortly after 9 o'clock. I was like I was in a fog. When the lights came on, they were as bright as the sun. A large camera was focused on my confused face, and someone was poking me with a microphone. Welcome, Charlie, to the Who's Daddy show. You're our next contestant. I'm Wink U. Barker, and I'll be your host tonight, he said with a huge smile. Who is this guy, and where the hell am I? Thanks, Wink, I think. All right, Charlie, let's get right to the game. The game? What game? But Vink, I don't know how to play. Ha, 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 that's the way the game works, Charlie. Only the wife knows how to play it. But Wink, how can I win? That's a good question, Charlie. Let's ask your lovely wife, Mary. Welcome, Mary. It's a pleasure to have you here today. It's great to have you here, Wink. Ha, ha, great, Mary. Meet me later in my dressing room. Now please tell Charlie how he can win, he said, looking at Mary. Well, Wink, he can't. He's a born loser. Mary laughed. Ha, Mary, I sighed. You look a little pale, Charlie. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I don't want to play this stupid game anymore. That's too bad, Charlie. Mary's already knocked up. You'll have to play now. No, I pleaded. Mary, please turn over the first picture. Could it be Daddy's? Your neighbor, Mark? He asked. No, 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 I shouted. Mary, please unfold the next picture. Who is that, Mary? My high school friend, Wink. No, 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 I pleaded. Show us the last picture, Mary. Could it be you, Charlie? Is that you, Dad? We'll find out after these publicity messages. No! I screamed. I woke up covered in sweat, my head was splitting, and I had an overwhelming urge to... No, I won't tell you that part. It may come up later in the murder trial. Believe me, you don't want to know. I was relaxing in a bathtub filled with hot water. Mary came in and stared at me while I tried to slit my wrists with an electric razor. She sat on the toilet and peed while the batteries in my Norelco were running low. Okay, Charlie? I just got off the phone with Dr. Kathy. We're both going in there and we're not leaving until you're sure you're the father of our child, Mary said sternly. But what if? Then, Charlie, you'd better get ready to spend a lot of time in church, because if this baby isn't yours, you'll be raising God's second child, she said stiffly. I bet you can imagine how we were going to prove this illogical truth. Yes, seed analysis. Oh, I'd already had them done when I had a vasectomy, and this was a very big but. How were we going to extract a sample in my current state? On the way to the doctor's, we passed by a church. I wondered if this was possible. No, we weren't even Catholic, but Episcopalian. I was sitting in the waiting room reading a pamphlet on erectile dysfunction when I was called by name. Mary got up and followed me. Where are you going? I asked. With you. I'm not going to leave you until we get this thing settled, she said as she nudged me toward the door. The nurse led us into the exam room and told us the doctor would be in a few minutes. I remembered that the last time someone came into the exam room with me, I was 7 years old and had the measles. How embarrassing. The wait wasn't too long, but it felt like it. Mary sat on a small stool and tapped her foot. She seemed amused that I was so uncomfortable. The doctor asked me to remove my clothes, which I had done in front of Mary 1,000,000 times before. However, in the presence of 2 women, I hesitated. This is freaking creepy as hell. She checked my apparatus, looked at the small scar on my scrotum. Okay, Charlie, on the table, she ordered. She said she needed to check my prostate gland. Prostate gland? Isn't that what a lawyer does? And what do you think I should do with it? I asked. We need a sample of Charlie's semen, said Dr. Kathy. Okay, and how do you propose to get it? I said, pointing to my marbles. Over there? I said, pointing to the cup. She looked at me like I had lost my mind. The usual way, Charlie, is self-satisfaction. I see, I said, nodding my head. I understand your predicament, Charlie. Mary, do you have any ideas? Well, I guess I can try, Mary said. Good. Then I'll leave you two alone. Please bring the sample when you're done. I know how anxious you are to get the results, said the doctor. To Mary's credit, she didn't give up trying. After a while, it became obvious that every time she touched me, the thought crossed my mind that she might have been with another man. When she realized that my problem was with her, she left the room in tears. I didn't do it intentionally. I really couldn't control myself. Dr. Kathy burst into the room and began to lash out at me. What the hell did you do to Mary, Charlie? I explained to her exactly what had happened. She nodded and left the room. She returned a few seconds later carrying a tray with a test tube and a 3-foot-long needle. What the hell is this? And more to the point, what the hell are you going to do with it? I already knew the answer, and I didn't like it. Come on, Charlie, it doesn't hurt at all, she said. Well, then let me put it in you and see for myself, I replied. If you could stick it in me, Charlie, we wouldn't need a shot, would we? Very funny. And what's with the wee shy? Ouch! Damn, that hurts, I exclaimed. I'm sorry, Charlie, but I had to do it. Where the hell have I heard that before? Dr. Kathy sat patiently on a stool and looked at me. My grandmother had said something about a clock pot or something. She must have meant just that. I was diligently counting the tiles on the ceiling when the doctor stood up and handed me a cup. Let's get Charlie's show on, she said, and left the room. I was so busy counting, there were 184 of them, by the way, that I didn't notice I'd gotten as stiff as a door. What, never mind, it doesn't matter, you know how my brain works. It was the least pleasant and most important outburst of my life. The thought, what if, popped into my head. I stared into the plastic cup, and the milky white slurry stayed there. Move, damn you! Swim, you little bastards! I shouted. For the life of me, when I was under a lot of pressure, my thoughts got a little jumbled. I mean, it was at that moment that the pressure of the situation reached its climax. My past and future life depended on scientific facts contained in a puddle of slime at the bottom of a plastic cup. Clarity of thought is something one usually gains while sitting on a mountaintop in Tibet. I've also heard that some achieve it through prayer. I, on the other hand, had my epiphany while sitting on a stainless steel table in a 10 by 18-foot cubicle. Trust is what life comes down to. It's a simple 5-letter word, not too difficult to understand. But the meaning, the true meaning of trust, is harder to understand than nuclear fusion. Frankly, it's deeper than the deepest ocean. It's a concept more remote than the most distant star. It was easy to say I trusted Mary, but did I really? If so, why am I here talking to a puddle of liquid? Mary told me I was the father of her unborn child. If I trusted her, why did I need proof? Mary was my life, the mother of my grown children. We shared everything with her, good and bad. She never once questioned the stupid things I did. She just believed I loved her. Mary knew what trust was. My wife never lied to me, but I doubted her. On the other side of the coin was medical science. Had it ever let me down? Hell yes, many times. Just last year when they told me I only had 6 months left. Yeah, and why do I have an appendix scar on the left and everyone else has one on the right? Have you ever wondered why a doctor practices medicine? That question says it all. They practice because they haven't figured it out yet. Was I really supposed to believe that a doctor was more trustworthy than Mary? Am I to believe that Mary lied to me? Didn't she suggest, no, demand this test? She wouldn't have done it if she had something to hide. She would never have come here today if there was even the slightest chance that the baby wasn't mine. As I got dressed, my betrayal of Mary became obvious. Mary came here with me today to support me. She brushed off the lack of trust and respect I had shown her. And what did I do? I accused her of infidelity. I was ready to see her as the villain, and she was still there to support me. If I continued the test, what would that say about our love that we had shared for over 25 years? My love for Mary was suspect. I didn't really trust her. Yes, I could say those words, but did I mean them and, most importantly, did I believe them? Suddenly, it all became all too clear. Placing the sample cup on the counter, I left the room. I walked down the hall to Dr. Cathy's office. Mary's eyes were red from crying. The doctor looked at her expressionlessly. I spoke, wondering if these words could heal the damage I had already done to my wife. "Let's go home, dear." "But what about the test?" asked Mary. "It doesn't matter, I believe you. And that's what matters," I said, reaching for her hand. 7 months later, our baby boy was born. 6 pounds, 13 ounces of pounding, screaming energy. He, oh yes, it was a boy, had 10 toes, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 ears, and 1 nose, just like me. Mary, even at her age, went through labor easily. Call me an idiot or a fool. This is something that has already been done by better men and women than you. Would you blindly take a leap of faith and trust? I have done it and would do it again. It may not be in your nature to take the word of another so easily, but ask yourself if being right was worth what you could have lost. Think carefully. The answer is not as simple as it may seem. In closing, I want to say that none of you feel sorry for old Charlie. I don't, except for the fact that I'm gonna have to pay for a revisectomy. Did you know that the insurance company only tells the customer one thing? I think that's pretty narrow-minded, don't you?